Yeah, no, I'll get it done before that. I will do that. So the initial words I will pass. Master's explanation. I just want to highlight this point here. Our minds are filled with afflictions, finding hard to accept and practice the teachings. Very, very simple words, very simple message, but most of the time we do not know. Because sometimes when the teaching is there, we unknowingly will find that we cannot even accept it. We can listen to it, but when I say accept it, hard to accept and practice the teachings. That's what it is. And very often you can knock on the mind door and the mind door is closed because we say we're busy. And this happens very often unknowingly. So guiding us to proprietary. And although we have brought along our karma with us, we can still be in practice to eliminate our afflictions with positive causes and conditions, counting bitter to sweet. We can still practice to eliminate our afflictions. So that's what we should be realize. That because our unknowing nature, that unknowing nature had to be awakened first. Because sometimes teachings are there in various forms and various ways. And they could come from somebody, not necessarily from your own. Master can't be teaching us all the time. You behave this way, behave that way. And master is not with us all the time. So what's going to happen? So you listen to the teaching, and then the teaching condition is there applied to one person. But we listen this morning, and then when we go off, unknowingly our mind locks the door. So this is the part that we have to know ourselves all the time. So teachings must be given to the right people at the right time. This is having about the right conditions. But even at the right conditions is then what is important is get engaged into what you call the, obviously Master always use the term flawless study, although I remember from most of my learning is from what I call a true study, but it's the same thing. So why must I say precepts, samadhi, and wisdom? If your mind doesn't even know what one is doing and the door is locked, how can there be wisdom life? So we need to understand very carefully. And so confused people have no faith. They're willing to believe and slander the teaching instead. And this is about people who cannot easily accept it, especially those who believe in what you call a one life theory, and find it very hard. So the lessons learned. Although we are unenlightened, we have positive causes and conditions and learn to practice the Dharma, and this is a condition that we have. Now, compassion is the seed of goodness, plant and grow it. Now, compassion on its own is not going to lead one to enlightenment. So one needs to have wisdom, and that wisdom is the mind. And so therefore, the compassion in our heart must pry open the door of the mind for us to learn, because otherwise we can be compassionate and the mind door is closed. And that is the part that we have to do a lot of our self-interrogation. We have to do a lot of self-reflection as to what we are doing, and this will always be mindful of what our conduct is. What is it that we are listening to? Perform aspiration and make vows, and this is so that we can not only take on this practice this lifetime, but in future lifetime as well. So in contemplation, the noble-minded ones, through skillful means, use appropriate methods to teach the defiled minds to learn. Now, obviously, why you have to use skillful means is because they know where our hindrances are, and therefore they use appropriate methods, and encourage them to embark on the practice of goodness, leading to live life in propriety. And all these things are about us to live the rightful life, to live the purposeful life, so that we can uphold the Dharma in our life. Raising in consciousness, one practice to transform the evil ways to wholesomeness. So raising in consciousness, And this consciousness about self-knowing. And therefore, if the consciousness is still worldly, we'll be still stuck to the worldly ways. We must stuck to the worldly ways that I'm busy and the mind dot is not open. One will then be still practicing in what they call the mundane consciousness. So therefore, we need to understand the or realize what is it and what is it that we are doing at the door of our mind. Because Master just said yesterday, cultivate the mind fields. How can you cultivate mind fields when the door is locked? So by transforming one's mind, and this is what it is, the transformation of one's mind, otherwise one will be then stuck. So so the noble-minded one teaches skillfully, and it's necessary to teach skillfully because there so that we can open the door of our mind. No, the noble-minded ones cannot open the door of our mind. We have to open it ourselves. But it gives us the inspiration through the skillful means. So a very short contemplation on relationship, goodness in relationship. You see goodness in all, and you know why? Simply because there is goodness in you. Okay, brother, thank you so much. Brother Robert, thank you so much.
Yeah, Gan En so much. Yeah, BrotherChin. Yes. Okay, can we also today take a group